then you definitely want to have a lockbox. Can I explain why it's that important? Hey, it's Kevin, the founder of Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training, and here is an objection that you get. We don't want a lockbox on our property. How do you deal with that objection? And so in this video, I'm just going to lay out for you exactly how you deal with the objection. We don't want a lockbox. So you don't want a lockbox. I hear you. And I know it's a pain. However, you do want the most money in your pocket on the sale of your house, right? Cool. Then you definitely want to have a lockbox. Can I explain why it's that important? Well, here's why. Because the best way to get top dollar for your house is to get the most buyers in here to see your house as fast as possible, right? So the easier it is to show, the easier it is for agents to show the house, the more buyers we're going to have in here faster. They're also going to be more excited, because what happens is if it's hard for them to show and we have to make all kinds of arrangements because there's no lockbox, it takes longer for buyers to get in here. It's more of a hassle for the agents. And so the agent gets annoyed and the buyer gets annoyed. And you know how emotional buyers can be, right? And so what you don't want is you don't want buyers coming to see your house when they're annoyed. And you certainly don't want agents to be annoyed, because that just simply means they're going to be less excited about making an offer on your house. And so the offers tend to come in slower and they tend to come in lower. And what we want, because you want to get top dollar, right? What we want is we want buyers most excited. We want it easier for them to show, so we get the most showings fast with the most excitement, so we get more offers, more excitement, and the offers come in hot and high instead of low and slow. Does that make sense? Now, here is the deal with sellers that don't want lockboxes. I got to find out why they don't want a lockbox. But most of them, it's a security concern. They don't understand how a lockbox works, or they want you to be present for the showing, because they think if you're present, then it's going to improve the chances of the buyers liking the house and making an offer. And the reality is that is most of the time not the case. Now, I'm not going to say it's never the case, but most of the time it's not the case. And here's the reason. If the buyers have another agent, the last thing they want is you trying to convince them to buy the house. That actually creates resistance, unless, are there exceptions to this? Yes, there are exceptions to this. All right, there are exceptions to every law, every rule. There's pretty much an exception to just about everything, but you don't build your business based on exceptions. So you just got to learn how to handle this objection. In most cases, whenever the listing agent has to be there, it annoys the buyer, the agent. The buyer doesn't want it if the agent is going to be there and trying to convince them of why they love the house and so forth. If the agent's really, really good, and in some scenarios, it's okay. But you got to find out, is that an issue? If that's the reason, then you have to address that, and then you make a decision. The other issue, and another very common issue, is security. Sellers are afraid if I have a lockbox on it, everybody's going to know that my house is for sale, and there's a chance people are going to break in and all that. And then you just have to, if security is their concern, you just simply have to reassure them that, one, anybody can access a lockbox, assuming you're using a Supra type lockbox, which is the electronic lockbox. One, only licensed agents have an active key card or access that'll even open the lockbox. Number two, every time they open it, it's recorded when it was open and who opened it. And number three, if somebody really wants to break into your house, they're not going to do it through the lockbox. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Trying to break through the lockbox is 10 times harder than breaking into a house. Okay, I mean, it's way easier to break into a house than it is to break into a lockbox. So they're not going to break into your lockbox to get the key. They're just going to break into your house. So it's not going to make your house in jeopardy or threatened, and we'll keep it out of sight and all that kind of stuff. You got to find out what is their concern and then address the concern. Here's the most important thing in handling an objection, though, is you go back to what they want, not what they don't want. And I want to say this again. When they say, I don't want a lockbox on my house, you don't go like, well, why do you not want a lockbox? You should have a lockbox. You should have a lockbox because it makes it easier for agents to show the property. Well, they don't really care if it's hard for agents to show the property, right? They don't care. They're like, they don't want a lockbox because they don't want it and they don't want it. And then you try to convince them that they should have it because it's easier, more convenient for agents. In other words, more convenient for you. Now they just think you're being lazy and so forth. So you always have to take an objection, whether it's this objection or any objection, you have to take the objection back to what the seller really wants. What is their motivation? Okay, so when they said, I don't want a lockbox, I'm like, you know what, I hear you. So you don't want a lockbox, I hear you, I know it's a pain. However, you do want to get top dollar for your house, right? What I'm doing is I'm redirecting their attention back to what they really want, which is they want the best offers for their house because they want the most money. And I know, and you know, that if we make the house too hard to show, the harder it is to show, buyers, as crazy as it sounds, buyers are less likely to look at it, less likely to show, agents are less likely to show it, or it takes longer for them to show it, and they're less excited. You want things happening fast. If you throttle the excitement of a buyer, or you throttle the excitement and the buzz of a new home on the market by making it hard to show, then you're going to get less excitement. And when you get less excitement, you're going to get lower and slower offers. That's just the way it is. So you refocus their mind and their thinking on what they want rather than focusing on what they don't want, which is the lockbox. They don't want the lockbox. What they do want is they want their house to sell for top dollar. Now, I'm not talking about creating pent-up demand, like by pre-marketing a house with it coming soon and all that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about once a house is on the market, not having a lockbox on it that makes it simply more of a pain for buyers to see it and other agents to show it is going to hurt the showings on the house. It's going to make it take longer, and it tends to lower the excitement and buzz that buyers have, so the offers tend to come in lower and slower. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions on it or comments, make sure you post them down below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that, and I'll see you on the next video.